Hey everyone, my name is Sean Cecil from the Oculus Institute, and today I'm going to give you 2 secrets that could put you in the top 5% of career happiness. Okay, so I just threw out a number there, so I'm going to justify that first before we continue. 85% of people do not enjoy what they do, right? That is in a poll, that's Gallup poll. I cite that number a lot because it's statistically conducted and totally valid, right? So that's 85% of people aren't even enjoying what they're doing. Now, of the 15% of people who do, my observation, just based on speaking with thousands of people about the subject, is that most of them are in a situation that's not permanent. They're in a situation where they can't count on being able to do that for the remainder of their career, right? There's only about 5% of people who have something where, they say, hey, listen, I'm in something that I love. I can do this until I retire. Maybe I don't even want to retire, right? It's a very small group, and it may be, maybe 6, 7%, but it's definitely somewhere between 5 and 10 based on my discussions. And there are 2 things that are super key that very few people do that will help you get to that 5%. And if you start from the premise of these 2 things, the other stuff, you can figure it out. You can find the right people to help you with it. I'm not saying that there aren't other components of it along the way, especially, the deconditioning, the getting clear on your authentic values, all this kind of stuff. But if you don't start with these 2 foundational points, you're screwed, right? So secret number 1 is intention. And intention is about a long-term target. So most people, when they're looking at jobs, they're only looking at, hey, I need to get this job that pays X amount right now, or I need to get this job that pays X amount and is remote, or whatever it is, right? And they're looking at very transactional stuff, and they're looking for, how can I do this right now, right? What they don't do is say, okay, where do I want to be 10 years from now? Where do I want to be 20 years from now? Where do I want to be 5 years from now? There's not a sense of looking forward into the distant future. They're very focused on their immediate situation, right? And if you're being realistic and honest with yourself, then your immediate situation is probably not going to have the avenues to jump to your perfect situation. Very few people have done that because it takes time and effort to get there, right? Whereas if you set that intention, right, for the long term, now you can actually, your option set is no longer limited to what's immediately around you. You can actually find something that's really going to be inspiring, right? You may not be able to get there right now, but if you give yourself 5 or 10 years and you put in the discipline, you will. Now, the second secret that's really important is the long-term planning part of this. So if you look at the people who have said, hey, listen, I know what my dream is, most of them say, well, I don't know how to get there from here, so I guess I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and hope that magically something will happen. And then, step 1, this is where I am. Step 3 is where I want to be. Step 2, question mark, who knows? We'll find a way, right? And they don't actually put any planning into it. Whereas people who really make a success out of this, they say, okay, listen, in order to get to point, let's call this point A, I need to get to point B. In order to get to point B, I need to get to point C. In order to get to point C, I need to get to point D. I'm here at point F. How can I get from F to D at least? Oh wait, I can go via E. And they create a plan. They create a step-by-step process. Normally has multiple points. It's normally going to involve a lot of work preparing yourself and building yourself into the person who can function well in C, function well in B, and ultimately function well in A, right? There's going to be a lot of skill development. There's going to be a lot of self-understanding. There's going to be a lot of, networking. There's going to be a lot of intermediate steps in terms of, maybe what you're going to need in order to have good marketing in terms of, your ethos and your story and all this other kind of stuff. And it's going to take a whole hell of a lot of work, right? But if you have the end point and you have the intermediate points, then it just becomes a question of, are you willing to put in the time and effort that's required? And unfortunately, the truth is that, most people are very intimidated by that. And that's one reason I think why people who, even when they have their endpoint, when they've given themselves permission to dream, don't give themselves permission to plan, because the next step after that is clearly to take action. And that's something where, people run into challenges with believing in themselves. They run into challenges with, hey, is this gonna work? They run into challenges of, hey, listen, this is something that's gonna drain my energy, because they have all these other things in their life, these other stresses and these other components that they haven't addressed, and so they aren't operating efficiently when it comes to their stress, their emotions, their thought patterns, and all this kind of stuff. And you definitely want to upgrade all of that so you can actually walk that path. But foundationally, if you start with setting a goal that's really going to inspire you and planning backwards from there to where you are, foundationally, that's what's going to show you the things that you need to upgrade in order to get there. But if you don't start with that process, you're never going to know what the next steps are and what the next growth avenues are. Hey everyone, if you found this video valuable, if you found a new perspective that's going to help you in your career or in your personal development, then I've got one more free gift for you. I've put together a free diagnostic quiz to help you figure out exactly where you are on the path to career freedom and what you need to do next. Just a few short multiple choice questions, and you're going to get a rating of where you stand in terms of your career fulfillment. You know, how is your job affecting you? How much does it align with who you naturally are? With your financial success, and with your internal alignment, your own sense of inner peace, and how that plays out in your life. Additionally, it will also show you which toolboxes are going to help you achieve higher levels in the ratings that were most challenging for you, as well as what next steps you can take to make sure that you gain those skills and you get the rewards. So if you want to go take that quiz, just go to www.oculusinstitute.com/purposequiz. No lines, no spaces, no dashes, just www.oculusinstitute.com/purposequiz. I'm looking forward to seeing your results. I hope you get a lot out of it, and I'm looking forward to helping you take those next steps.